And today I think we want two kind of long-term sector questions for you. And the first one is NFTs. Do you think they're bullish or do you think they're bullshit for the long term? And if these names like TCAT and Zkin are going to kind of, I guess, get real revenue from NFTs in the future?
Yeah. So the thing is, my opinion on small cap sectors is I don't even think about this revenue nonsense. No, I understand the whole craze with kind of NFTs, but I don't think that's going to be like, for example, so you talked about electric vehicles as well earlier, so I'll touch on
Yeah.
that too. But like, I think NFTs can certainly come back. There were a couple hits or some, but I don't think that's kind of I don't think that's going to be one of kind of the main sectors in the near future.
Okay.
Like I mean, it could still be it could still be a high flying sector of revenue and all that, and it can come back, right? Maybe 6 months later or something like that. But I think right now is so you probably know this just from kind of all these posts, but semiconductors and BLM were the two sectors that went parabolic, right? Like we saw UONE or all these tickers went from like $3 to whatever, right? That's a short squeeze. That's not like, hey, this is a very valuable company. It's
Yeah.
a short squeeze. And so semiconductors have yet to go. And that's the semiconductor shortage is still very much in play, right? So what that means is what can set off these sectors is usually kind of like world events, right? So anything you get from a bill or like, anything mentioning the semiconductor shortage, right? Or maybe, kind of one company, it could just be like a carve, right? Or LEDS or kind of a car type play, right? For BLM, for semiconductor, if one of them goes off, all the others are just going to sympathize, right? Or they
Yeah.
call them sympathy plays. And so I think, in terms of sectors, I'm kind of looking through my sector list. So I would put semiconductors on kind of the very top of that list. In terms
Okay.
of electric vehicles, right? Electric vehicles went crazy back in November because this was the whole thing about kind of inauguration, right? Biden comes into power, solar, EV, all these plays go crazy. I think, I think electric vehicles is, yeah, it's fine, whatever, but it's just, I feel like, the trend's just been around for too long and it's just kind of, fade into the essence of the deep. It could come back one day, right? But I just don't think it's going to be a focused sector. And, it's been so quiet for a very, very long time.
Yeah. So kind of what I'm hearing from you is we're calling bullshit on NFTs and EVs right now. My kind of thoughts on EVs are those big companies like Ford, all those Chevy, all those companies are in place. They have the facilities, they have everything to be able to mass produce if they decide to next week. Like Ford just released their Ford Maverick, which I think it's like hybrid or something, but they could make a full electric vehicle truck if they want to, and they could have it mass producing within the year. And these Fiskars, these Go EVs, these Lightning e-motors, I don't think they have that in them. I don't think they have kind of the capabilities to do that on the same level as all these old time makers. Like Tesla and CCIV, I think are probably the two that survive, and then some of the other ones that have parts like Go EV, they have a good skateboard technology they could sell to companies like Chevy, like Ford. Um, but a lot of these companies that are actually producing vehicles, I don't think that they're going to be able to kind of um, oversell or beat out big names like Ford, Toyota, like Honda, whoever decides to do whatever they're going to do. I don't think they can beat them out. That's kind of my thoughts on those smaller companies that came public within the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's also the whole hype thing, right? So leading up to it, there's a lot of hype, but then all of a sudden now you need to show people proof you can generate revenue and you can be profitable and do something with your company, right? And
Yeah,
then that's where a lot of things are just going to perish. So,
Neo's a
yeah,
good one. I like Neo a lot.
yeah. Neo is a
EV.
good one.
I never understood the hype behind NFTs, like just the general, like not like in regards to stocks, but like what an NFT actually is. I just don't understand that. Like how is that popular? It's
Yeah.
like it just the concept seems so off to me.
It's just something to do with, I think it was the fact that it connected Bitcoin and like media that people just like took off with it. And it was also something that people could just like sell. Like people could sell the NFTs as the next big like Bitcoin thing that's going to go off because that was after electric vehicles and green energy plays kind of calmed down. So I think they needed something, and NFTs came out, and it's like, this is Bitcoin. This is connecting social media, YouTube videos, whatever pictures, artists to Bitcoin and to other people, and it's revenue producing. But I couldn't really see the long term appeal on it. So I'm calling bullshit too with Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm definitely calling bullshit on some of these EV names, and definitely calling bullshit on NFTs. I really like CCIV and Neo long term.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see what Fisker does, because it's. I mean, they're not producing vehicles yet. I mean, the SUV looks really nice.
It looks kind of like a
It
Chevy
looks cool,
Trailblazer, to be honest.
but they just need to capitalize on this. So.
Yeah. Well, Brady, I really like the semiconductor play too, because I saw you talk about that in Atlas last week, and I kind of did a little bit of my own research on it. And it feels like the semiconductor shortage is not going to be shored up soon, but within these next like few months are kind of pivotal months. And I mean, people are going to calculate that and kind of, I think, price it in maybe a little before, and that could trigger something really big, like you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, anything that's a prior sector runner always has the ability to come back for, once it, kind of sells off completely, it can come back for a secondary bounce, especially if it was parabolic, right? So
Yeah.
the reason I thought BLM was going to come back from the Juneteenth, thing is because that was such a parabolic move. Anytime you get something that significant, there's usually some sort of secondary bounce after, it does that. Now, semiconductors was not only a kind of a run, it was a super parabolic run. The other thing that kind of clarifies it as a super parabolic run is sometimes these plays, after they go up parabolic, they'll pull back and they'll run up again, and then pull back and run up again, forming higher lows, basically.
Okay.
Semiconductors did that in a natural amount of times, 3, 4, more than I've seen in some other sectors. It means that it's a super parabolic one, right? That's worth watching for a secondary bounce.
Yeah.
And then in terms of shorts, right, it's extremely dangerous for them to short in a demand area with a secondary bounce, right? In a, prior hot sector is just like, I mean, we saw what happened with BLM, right? So, that's why, like, it's just, if you're going to short, don't pick this area to short. And so that's like, so if there's still shorts there, which I forgot, I think I checked the short interest on some of these. It's like 14, 15% or something. That's still very high.
Yeah, no, it is. That's pretty high for something that could be triggered like semiconductors could be.
Yeah, yeah. And so like any Biden mention or whatever, right, that can set it off. If not, it could also naturally just, get set off, just kind of, it bases, right? Technical bounce. And then all of a sudden people have their eyes on